So in this problem, we're taking a look at a series of possible investments, and we want to be able to make a appropriate investment decision. Now, of course, it's easy to say just put all the money in the highest earning account, but sometimes it's important to diversify your funds. So in part A, we're asked, a company has $10,000 in liabilities that are due in 1 year. It chooses to invest in the bond market and social choice accounts. The company would like to earn $500 in interest so that they are only investing $9,500 of their own funds. Assuming the 10-year average annual return, how much should they put in each of the two accounts? Okay, so there's our question. That's going to help us write down what our variables are. So in letter A, let's see, we have bond market, so B equals, we'll say dollars in bond market, and then we'll let S be the dollars in social choice. Well, we know the constraints are that we need to make sure that the total invested is $9,500. So only $9,500 is going to be invested, which means then that the extra $500 needs to be in interest. So $500 earned. Well, that translates pretty quickly. $9,500 invested, that means whatever we put in bond, whatever we put in social choice has to sum to equal $9,500. And well, how do we get interest? Well, interest is going to be based on the amount that we deposit. So we want to earn a total of $500. And where's that $500 going to come from? Well, it's going to come from the interest on the bond market, which if we assume the annual rate, I'm going to earn 5.29% on whatever I put in bonds, plus I'm going to earn 4.51% on whatever I put into social choice, and that sum needs to be 500. Well, now I can solve this system, so I will solve the first one for S, or for B, and that's going to be 9,500 minus S. Now I'll take that and I'll plug it in for B, so I'll have 0.0529 times B, which is, by substitution, 9,500 minus S. And then I have plus the 0.0451 S, plus 0.0451 S, and that needs to equate to $500. Okay, well now I can solve. I can start to solve this equation, so I need to find out what 0.0529 times 9,500 is. And I get 502.55 minus 0.0529S plus 0.0451S equals 500. So I'll combine my like terms. I'll have negative 0.0529 negative 0.0529 plus 0.0451. And so I get 502.55 minus 0.0078S equals 500. I'll subtract 502.55 from both sides, giving me 0.0078S equals negative 2.55. And now I'll just divide negative 2.55 by negative 0.0078. And I get about $326.92. So S is about $326.92. Alright, well that allows me pretty quickly to determine what B is. We know that S plus B equals 9,500, so B is equal to the difference, 9,500 minus 326.92, and this tells me that I would need to put in 326.92. I would need to put in $9,173.08 into the bonds, and this is dollars in social choice. So here are my two answers. Here's what I want to figure out. And this will ensure that the company exactly meets its constraints, which are that $500 of interest is earned and a total of $9,500 is invested. Okay, in part B, we want to know how much should they invest in each if they decide to go with the global equities and money market accounts and are satisfied with $250. They will invest the rest in interest, assuming the 10-year annual average. Okay, so now we're just saying now they're going with different accounts, global equities and money market. So they're going to look at this guy and this guy. They're earning lower rates, so they probably shouldn't expect to earn quite as much. So 3.61%. So we have 3.61%, and this was on the, back up here real quick. That was on the global equities, and then on the money market is 1.97. And money market, it was 1.97. Okay, and so now they want to, their constraints are, so we'll let I guess G equal dollars in global equities, and we'll let M equal dollars in the money market. So our constraints are that we're going to invest $9,750 and we're going to earn $250. So these are basically set up the same way. Our G plus our M, our total has to be $9,750. And now our percentages times the amount invested plus the percentage times the amount invested has to equal $250. So just like before, except with our corresponding percentages, 0.0361 plus 0.0197 M, that was a G there, has to equal 250. Okay, so I'll come up here and solve it. So we know that G equals 9750 minus M. And so I'll plug that into the second equation, 0.0361 9750 minus M plus 0.197 M equals 250. So that kind of went off the page there. So we'll distribute 0.0361 times 9750 to give us 351.975 plus 0.19, excuse me, I forgot to distribute all the way through. So we'll have minus 0.0361 M plus 0.197 M equals $250. Okay, we'll combine like terms, so we have negative 0.0361 plus 0.197. Excuse me, that should be 0.0197, not 0.197. So 0.0197 this up just a little bit. So plus 0.0197 equals 250. And so the difference between those two numbers is 0.1609. So 351.975. Oops, I need to add my 0.0. So I'll insert a 0 here. No, that's okay. 0.0197. An extra decimal there. So that should give me negative 0.0164 equals 250. So now I'll move the 351 to the other side, giving me negative 101.975. And that's negative 0.0164 M equals that. So I will divide negative 101.975 divided by excuse me, so it should be dot. Alright, negative 101.975 divided by negative 0.0164. And that gives me $6,217.99 into money market. So that's how much we're putting into money market in order to accomplish this goal. The difference, G equals 9750 minus 6217.99. The difference there is going to be, let's figure this out, 9750 minus the answer gives us 3532 and 1 cent. And this is in global equity. So there are our two final amounts. And so that's obviously the split's a little bit greater. Over here it wasn't that great because we weren't trying to earn that much interest, and we had some really high paying percentages. Now we have two small paying percentages. Part C asks, why would the company be in over its head if it attempted to make $1,000 in interest in 1 year from the investments in the table above as its choices? Provide mathematical evidence to justify your answer. Well, the simplest way to look at it is, how could I get the most amount of money if I just went for biggest percentage? And the answer is I could look at the 5.29 and put all of my money into the 5.29% account. Well, if I did that, if I wanted to make $1,000, that means I'm only putting $9,000 out of pocket. And 5.92% earned on $5,000 is not $1,000. So the best I could do is I could make $476.10 by just investing all of my money into the biggest account. So that's why this amount is not feasible here, at least given the constraint on how much is to be invested.